Hi everyone, I hope that you're doing well. This will most likely be the final video lecture for the semester, and honestly, it's less a lecture and more of a reminder or an update or assignment walkthrough than anything else. In the next few slides, I'll walk you through the mechanics of the final assignments, all the while in the digitally manipulated guise of anthropomorphized and I can only assume haunted tuber. And with that, let's begin. As you'll recall, at the very beginning of the semester, I offered you a choice of 2 tracks or trajectories through the class. Option number 1 consisted of completing a series of short mini methods labs throughout the semester. If you took option number 1, then you will have completed the bulk of the work required for this class already. All you have left to do is one rather short and simple assignment, but I want to point out that it has 2 components. More on that in a bit. Option number 2, folks, you took a different path. You submitted a project proposal way back in the olden times when we could meet face to face. Your final project is much more straightforward. It's a term paper. Let's start with those option number 1, folks. And as it turns out, that's the vast majority of you in class. So the bulk of you, pay attention here. This assignment is a 2-parter. In order to get full credit, you need to do both of those parts. Part 1 is pretty simple. It's a list. All you need to do is create a list of professional development opportunities that might be of interest to you. Copy and paste links or screenshots of job listings, grants, certifications, internships, scholarships, grad school programs that you're interested in, as well as assistantships, even courses in your major or minor that you need to take in the future or you have to graduate. Anything that you think will be of help to you. There's no minimum length requirement. There's no number of entries that I'm specifically looking for in this part of the assignment. So why am I having you do this? Well, it's because it's something that I started doing when I was a graduate student, and it helps tremendously. You need to keep these kinds of professional development opportunities on your radar, otherwise you'll miss them. And this is more important now than ever. It's an incredibly complicated and difficult labor market that you're facing. And I know I'm speaking to you as a potato right now, but on a serious note, I know this is difficult, especially if you're graduating in May. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in the height of the Great Recession in 2008, so I understand, at least to some degree, what it's like to graduate in the midst of a global crisis. Now, let me get back on track here. So, the second part of the assignment is a research statement, or what is sometimes referred to as a research agenda. Originally, this was going to be a bit longer, but with how complex and difficult life has gotten as of late, I've reduced the minimum page length. It's 1 page. That's it. Write a 1-page description of a future research project that you'd like to conduct. This could be a film or a podcast you want to produce. It could be a more traditional research paper, some sort of PR work, anything. You're going to tell me. To do that well, you need to tell me a few things. Explain what it is that you're going to be researching. In other words, what kind of work are you going to do, or what do you want to do? Tell me what question or questions that you need to ask, or what problems you need to solve. What method or methods might you use to generate your data or to find data? And then what is your goal? What do you hope to accomplish? That's it. For this assignment, you need to create a list and write a 1-page research project description. Submit all of that to me as a single document, and you're done. This brings us to option number 2. Here's what you need to do. Your final assignment is much more straightforward, or at least as far as instructions are concerned it is. You'll be writing a term paper. Originally, I had envisioned this as a much longer final paper, but again, with everything happening with COVID-19 crisis and the generalized sense of unease and anxiety and the lack of motivation you might be experiencing, I know I am to some degree, I have opted to reduce the minimum length requirement to 12 to 15 pages. I've already reviewed your project proposal and spoken with you about your project throughout the semester. Feel free to touch base as much as you need if you have any questions. The biggest and most important thing that I want to reiterate here is this: have a thesis. You need to put forth some sort of argument, have a position, a polemic, have a point of view. Then build your argument with your data. That's it. Use a standard 12-point sort of font. Choose your favorite. Just don't use something like Comic Sans because it will destroy me. All final assignments are due by Monday. That's not a Sunday. Monday, May 4th at 11:59 p.m. via the appropriate Dropbox on D2L. I know you've had a lot of assignments due on Sunday throughout the semester, especially since we shifted to an online sort of system, but it's going to be, I'm reiterating this, Monday May 4th, 11:59 p.m. via Dropbox, the appropriate Dropbox. It's your responsibility to submit the final paper on time, in the correct file format, and in the right location. Please do not procrastinate. I can't accept any late work on this last assignment. On May 5th, as soon as my dog wakes me up, the day after you submit, I'm going to start grading so I can get final grades in. And with that, that's the last sort of video lecture that we'll be having for what has been a really crazy semester. I will touch base with you again about grading and, of course, about the course evals. And I just want to say one thing. I'll talk about this again later, but those evals are extremely important, and especially for a non-tenured assistant professor like myself, I'll be pestering you about submitting those via announcements, and might even return as a tuber or something like that. So more info on that later. Please take care of yourselves. Let me know if you need anything.